we take the other two freedoms then, free movement of labour, free movement of capital. If we take free movement of labour, obviously, that means that from an individual citizen point of view, obviously that's good news because you can go anywhere you want. I mean, obviously, language barriers are going to create some difficulties. So that idea of choice and kind of that ability to economically take your services kind of wherever you can sell them, that's really beneficial, particularly to highly educated workers. When we look at what it means for economies, then obviously you can labour's a two-way flow. There's immigration and emigration. So on the one hand, you may well attract immigrants, especially if you're a high-income economy. So what's going to happen is that's going to increase your labour supply. So that's going to increase your potential growth. It's going to shift longer aggregate supply. You just have a larger workforce. So that's anti-inflationary and supporting your ability to grow. At the same time, it's likely that the sorts of people who are going to come to your country are the ones that are looking for high wages. High wages tend to be in the areas where there are skill shortages or high relative to what you're earning in your own country. Otherwise, why would you bother to come? So hence, it's likely to make your economy more effective because we kind of deal with skill shortages. And in principle, therefore, it's as we said, it's likely to be it's likely to be anti-inflationary, because what we're doing is there's increased competition in labour markets. So it's going to put downward pressure on wages, or at least stop there being unnecessarily upward pressure on wages. And obviously all these people coming, in principle, they're going to earn income, which they may spend. So it's possible that the demand as a whole is going to increase. When people object to this, and kind of say this isn't a good thing, free movement of labour, what they're normally saying is that there's a risk that there's going to be a decrease in wages, or there's going to be an increase in unemployment for kind of local workers. And I guess that's a possibility; it could happen. But the evidence tends to be that overall that hasn't tended to happen, and that countries that have experienced kind of inward migration have actually experienced an increase in tax base as well, which is another point that's worth making. So there's that kind of labour market issues itself, where there is maybe a stronger evaluative concern is kind of pressure on resources, and by resources, I'm talking about particularly housing, health, and education, schools. What's happening is that obviously a lot of people are coming to the country, but you've still got exactly the same number of hospitals, schools, and houses as you did before. With more people needing those things, that creates competition. There's a danger that's going to drive up house prices and rents. There are going to be shortages of that wait times for doctors are going to be problematic, or that class sizes in schools are going to increase. And although we said that migration is going to lead to an increase in the tax base, which in principle should allow you to deal with some of those issues. The problem is that these issues are extant in the short term, in the immediate point at which people come, and even if the government then uses the money to expand health and education, that's going to take some time. Looking at migration, labour market from the other side, obviously there is also the possibility of emigration. So that's particularly likely if you are a low wage, low income EU country, then it may well be that some of your workforce chooses to work abroad, which is great for them. It gives opportunities and an incentive to become educated, to be able to get jobs abroad. Obviously, it means that often people will pay back remittances, and they'll pay back to their families in the home country. But so those are both kind of good things. But obviously, one of your risks is that it's your top talent goes abroad, and that then damages your own prospects for growth. Because because your high skilled workers have left to go and work in France and Germany where incomes are higher, and that's not necessarily a great thing. So labour markets, there's both immigration and emigration, and the same with capital markets. Obviously some of this is banking, but one way, if you look at our fourth freedom, one is kind of also freedom of foreign direct investment. And we've talked about foreign direct investment in lots of different contexts. But obviously where it's going to tend to go is it's going to tend to go to low wage, high skill, kind of low land price areas. So it's likely to be beneficial to new joiners. And there's nothing to stop any existing EU business from going and setting up elsewhere. And then you can talk, generally speaking, about the kind of wider costs of foreign direct investment. Kind of companies coming on the one hand to create jobs, blah 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 blah. And we've covered that elsewhere. So our third and fourth freedoms again. It kind of what does it all depend on then? It depends on who you are. Some of the benefits are going to be greater for high income economies. Some of these benefits are going to be greater for low income economies. So it's worth just thinking about the idea that the EU isn't just a homogeneous whole. That what's true for Germany isn't going to be as true for Portugal or Bulgaria. We'll come on to some of the other advantages and disadvantages of EU membership in a minute.